In Fullmetal Alchemist, an entire nation is turned into a sacrificial lamb by a government who cares not for its well-being, not even in the slightest. I mean, humans are just fuel, if you will, and that's corrupt governance. However, corruption and government have been intertwined ever since humans could form intricate social systems. Systemic racism, the less fortunate being oppressed at the behest of their oligarchical and all powerful powers that be, the one percenters. It's undeniable, and quite frankly, as an American, I think it's extremely relevant to our society you see today. However, this isn't a conspiracy video. It's simply a geopolitical case study that uses Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood as a mirror, because anime is art, and art imitates life. And inside of that, you'll find the truth. Speaking of art that imitates life, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has got to be one of the greatest pieces of art that imitates our real world. I mean, inside of it, you can see manufactured wars, civil sacrifice for elite gain, unrest, the illusion of democracy. I don't know about you, but doesn't that sound familiar? Enter King Bradley. At first glance, he seems like the perfect leader. He's strong, patriotic, charismatic, stoic even. To the people he serves, it seems like he's the perfect man for the job. He doesn't just lead in his rhetoric, but also in his actions, what you see him do and how you see him do it. You're every man, but he's actually not a man at all. He's a literal monster. Homunculus. See, Amestris didn't fall into corruption like actual nations do. With this shining star of justice they were founded upon and then eventually deteriorating into a shadow of their former selves. No, it was architected that way by Bradley and his cohorts. See, while Bradley's the only homunculus in the high-ranking government, he's far from the only monster. So many people turned a blind eye toward, or even worse, played a part in its architecture. Under the cover of diplomacy, they were able to feed their own selfish desires, because absolute power corrupts absolutely every time. And the sad part is, King Bradley isn't even the real antagonist of the series. Enter Father. He's not a rogue villain, he's not your run-of-the-mill superpower big bad that wants to blow up the earth. He's a schemer, a long-term planner. I mean, he did centuries of legwork and ritual sacrifice just to get what he wants. It's literally one of the most cunning anime villains of all time. He's not the benefactor of a government that's run by monsters. He's, well, its father. He's its creator. You know what I mean? Controlling everything behind the scenes. What if all the evil and corruption we see in government is not from those running it, but coming from some type of evil orchestrator conducting a symphony, a cacophony of pain and misery from the souls of the damned just to achieve a twisted, beautiful version of whatever world they want to build? Puppet masters of some kind. But let's zoom out and focus on the most important factor in this equation, the nation governed, Amestris. I mean, at first glance, it seems way more progressive than Scar's Ishvalan nation or Link's homeland in the east, who seem to do things a lot more traditionally. There's an advanced train system, this super advanced machinery that can replace limbs, and what seems to be a functioning government and a thriving economy. The perfect picture of peace. Almost too perfect. But under the guise of this picture-perfect society, there's an ugly evil that lurks. It's not talked about openly, but it's whispered about in passing by those who notice the treacherous trend of war and military might being coveted by civilian and politician alike. For example, Hawkeye, who always calls for oversight, or the Colonel, who just straight up stops taking orders. To the inhabitants, well, the majority of inhabitants, it seems like a necessary evil for them to achieve such a peaceful life that they live. But every single war was manufactured. Every single drop of blood that was shed, geometrically aligned, down to the most minute detail. The Ishvalan genocide, that was not patriotism. That was blood sacrifice. We've seen our fair share of genocide in our world. I mean, even the homunculi have so much depth to them. They're not just monsters for the sake of being monsters. They all represent character flaws that humans inherently have: pride, lust, greed, wrath, sloth, gluttony. Think about it. They all represent an aspect of corrupt governance. A prideful politician who says loud and abrasive things with no regard for who he offends. A greedy politician who will take bribes or use taxpayer dollars to get the new Rolls Royce, or even a wrathful leader who stomp on the oppressed, all in the name of globalization. What happens when greed influences policy, when pride influences diplomacy, when gluttony is the one making the laws? I mean, think about how many civilizations we've seen turn a blind eye to evil things, all because they trusted in a government that was not what it appeared to be. No one talks about the tyranny or even thinks it's applying to them until it's knocking on your doorstep. But what if the homunculus is the one who's building those houses? The best systems do not rule with fear alone, they rule through belief. Because if you believe there's nothing to fear from the ones writing history, then of course you believe you're on the right side of it. But I don't know. Maybe I just think too much. The people of Amestris didn't think too much though, and they never knew they were standing inside of a circle, because the ritual only works if you don't see the pattern. Oh, side note. Hi, I'm Zahir Hakim. Um, I love anime, and I love film, and I love music. But I think all in all, what I really love is to ponder, to reflect. And there's never really been a hub for all of that stuff that I could go to and consume the media just for the sake of consuming it, even if it was cool background noise. So I figured, hey, why not make one? You know? I'm not going to ask you to like, share, or subscribe, because if you want to do that, you're going to do it anyway. But what I will say is, what do you think? What parallels do you see with your favorite anime in our real world that we experience every day we wake up? Because all in all, I love to have a conversation. This page is for the thinkers, and I think you should interact with me. But if the algorithm doesn't bring us together again and you never see this face, just know I want you to make sure you're taking care of yourself, and peace and blessings.